Welcome to the Tournament of the Americas, one of the 5 regional Olympic basketball qualifying tournaments. 10 countries from the Western Hemisphere are represented here in Portland. 4 will move on to Barcelona. It was only 2 weeks ago that fans here in Portland were rooting for their Western Conference champion Trailblazers against the Chicago Bulls in the NBA Finals.
Forward, Larry Bird. A 6'6" guard, Michael Jordan. Drexler. A 6'6" forward, Charles Barkley. And a 6'9" guard, Irvin Magic Johnson.
5 from this group of 10 that is divided into 2 pools of 5 teams apiece. So the end result by next Sunday, 4 of these countries will make it to Barcelona. From 14 points down to defeat Canada 79-78 on this last-second 3-point field goal by Jose Diaz, and that certainly provided a major surprise. All right, for Cuba, the starting guards, last night's hero, Jose Diaz, along with Leonardo Perez. Up front, Lazaro Burrell, who is very well regarded, and Judith Abreu. And the starting center for Cuba is Andres Gilbert. The coach is Miguel Calderon, who says our height isn't at the world level, but our speed and quickness certainly is. For the United States, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan open in the backcourt. Chuck Daly's starting lineup, Larry Bird and Charles Barkley at the forward positions, and David Robinson at center, making it back from the surgically repaired thumb. And there is the coach of the United States basketball team, Chuck Daly, now the head coach of the New Jersey Nets after handling the Detroit Pistons for 9 seasons, winning NBA titles back in 1989 and 1990. The officials, Kostas Rigas of Greece and Carlos Affini of Brazil, both with vast international experience. And in the white uniform, Magic Johnson controls the tip. Here's Larry Bird backing in, goes to the fadeaway. Michael Jordan, rebounded by Robinson. Charles Barkley.
Here between the size, strength of these two teams. Cuba is not a physical team. They're a very small team as far as their width and girth.
And 9, Bird will inbound. 4-0 for the United States. Here's Magic, and he's hacked. International rules as we run it down.
Well, the distance from the NBA three-point line is a little bit, about 2.5, 3 feet difference from the FIBA court. There is a 30-second shot clock rather than the 24-second clock used in the NBA. Another one of the differences, when you foul, taking a 3-point attempt, you receive 3 free throws rather than just 2, as in the NBA. You receive 3 free throws rather than just 2, as in the NBA.
It will be 91 feet. Crowd wanted to travel, but the air ball was tossed by Burrell. Johnson leading the break, finds Robinson.
Once you defensive rebound with guys like Robinson and Larry Bird, and then have a point man in the middle, like Magic running the show, you know you're going to get some easy scores.
But more on the Cuban situation, let's go down to my amigo, Quinn Buckner.
Johnson leading to the foul by Andres Gilbert, putting
people that pass the basketball well, but none better than Magic, and a big guy like Robinson finding the open spots. He just runs the floor so well.
Charles
Perez understands that.
Diaz trying the 3. Cubans have been hoisting 3-pointers. Here's Barkley by Perez. Charles Barkley, on everybody's case, he has emerged as the team comedian. And we'll be hearing from Abreu, being played by Bird. Diaz, yes. Over Canada. USA with a 10-5 lead. Now Cuba to the offense, led by Perez. Throws the 3 up. And rebounded by Jordan.
Perez may have realized that may be his best opportunity to get an open look in transition.
Magic with the pass that misfired. Jordan with the behind-the-back save. Yes, it is their debut in the Tournament of Americas. Nice move. And the United States with a 12-7 advantage. Pretty good. Barkley came on strong in the second half. Bird is wide open. That's a
Standing effort by Michael Jordan. First of all, just getting to this basketball, then trying to save it, and then saving it with a behind-the-back pass to Larry Bird, who you know he's going to make the shot once he, gets the opportunity.
nice fake by Perez. Leonardo Perez, 17-9 lead. Jordan guarded by Diaz.
And the Cuban team now switching into a zone defense, getting out of the man-to-man. This is one of the things that the U.S. team has worked against.
It's a 4-on-2. Perez for the pull-up. And rebounded by Jordan. Oh, a bullet from Magic to Barkley. By Johnson. Barkley from Bird. Barkley on the move.
And that time the defensive rebound.
Magic for Barkley. Barkley has 12 points in this first half. And Barkley fires for Robinson.
Can either make it a spectacular pass with a cross-court diagonal look to Charles Barkley with the keep the ball as long as possible to the last second, make the defense commit, and then just drop it off for another deuce. It counts the same on the scoreboard either way.
And the crowd reacts to the play. Robinson to the foul line.
Runs the floor so well, so Chuck Daly can let Robinson.
39 years old. He's been on the national team since back in 1976 and 1980. Played in the Pan American Games. And Burrell guarded by Mullen. That's Morales with the ball. Puts the move on Carmelo. Near steal. The air ball handled by Malone. And here's Pippen on a 3-on-1, finding Stockton off to Drexler. Yes, and a count.
Having an assist is out in front, and Stockton knows that he's playing in Portland. Right decisions.
Back to the scrimmages against the
three-point shots, especially.
United States with possession following a 3-second violation. Expected that he'll be ready for Barcelona. Matt Goodell with a 3-point field goal.
For his ankle, Mark.
Arnemont and Chuck Daly said that for the Tournament of the Americas, not concerned. He has Carmelo at the center position, and they were actually guilty of overpassing, trying so hard to do the right thing. This is Perez who made his return. Fast break, Drexler by himself.
There's no question that's what they're setting out to do. Share the basketball.
Mullen, yes. Malone. Richard Matienzo. Stockton with the look away, finds
over to the zone and zone back to man-to-man. But when you catch him in between, that's what's going to happen with the Stockton out there.
And the United States leads 40-18. Mullen for three, yes.
Drexler with the open shot, a short three-pointer, instead gives it up to Mullen, a better perimeter shooter. Have the respect factor there from Michael towards Larry and Magic, just tremendous.
Co-captains, Michael said he had no problem with it. And back comes Cuba in the red and white. Rojas
penetrates. He's got 2 or 3 people open each time.
Drexler penetrating, yes. And that is his 4th personal. Drexler collecting his 4th foul.
Is the fact that, yeah, the basketball's been great. They've been working, and you get your first assignment on the floor, and the coach tells you, okay.
Very well liked over the course of the week of practice.
As a shooter, but also a tough mental set, and he also feels that Christian is a very knowledgeable basketball player, having played.
And get inside the U.S. defense as often as guarding the three-point line, that as soon as the ball.
First appearance at the free throw line for Cuba. Talk about the dream team. Bird shaking off the 3. Jordan from downtown. Barkley missed on the tip. Also at halftime, we'll catch you up on the count of 50-24. Leitner from Johnson. Yes.
Occasionally, they used it last night against Canada. It was a.
Here's Diaz for 3. And Leitner off the board. Leitner. Barkley on the follow.
In the paint, now going to the free throw line.
Charles Barkley by Bobby Knight, but Charles says the trials actually gave him a chance to play his way into the top 5 half remaining in the first half. Machadel and Barkley with the rebound. It's a 4-on-2. Johnson behind the back. Barkley couldn't handle it. Here comes Machadel. And the bank coming off the last-second victory last night. A come-from-behind effort against Canada. Bird for 3. In the NBA. Michael Jordan popping it down to Christian Laettner. Seen in its entirety, starting at 12 of 10 countries, 4 will qualify. By Jordan with the steal, and that is his first.
This first half of basketball, running at the shooter behind the three-point line. Magic that time, making the defensive rotation, forcing him to put it on the floor.
Bird for 3. Yes! His third from downtown. Larry Bird from Magic Johnson to conclude the first half. Bob Costas, and Bob will be visiting with Karl Malone. The United States 23 for 36 from the field, 64% shooting. Cuba at 35%. U.S. 17 of 20 from the free throw line.
It allows you to move Karl Malone back to his natural power forward position, and you take another look, a different way of playing this game, Chuck, with a number of combinations obviously possible.
The second half is underway in international play. There are 2 20-minute halves. Mullen for a straightaway 3. Games last summer.
In an unusual coaching decision in last night's game against Canada, in these games, 5 left him in the game midway during the first half. He then picks up his 4th, has to sit out the rest of the first half, comes back in and plays the remaining.
2-27 lead. Get off the beautiful lead pass. Drexler for 3. And back comes Abreu. Here's Perez. Perez 5 to this point this afternoon.
He's an explosive player who plays in streaks, as David Robinson shows his versatility.
Out. Look away pass from Stockton. Well, that's a combination. John Stockton able to team up. Mullen with the steal. Stockton has Mullen. Goes the other way. Clyde was trailing the play. Led the league in assists and steals, leading the NBA in assists for 5 straight years, averaged just under. That is his 4th.
Well, in talking to David yesterday, we mentioned the conditioning factor.
Splint on his left thumb. Stockton able to jump out for the steal. Malone for Mullen.
Like this can just discourage teams, take them out of everything they're trying to do.
And Drexler leads the break. Stockton is happy. You take a look at the average minutes per game of this all-star studded squad during the course of the regular season.
First of all, the NBA game is 48 minutes long. Here they play 2 20-minute halves, a 40-minute game. Each of these players on the U.S. team, 20 minutes, per player.
Particularly in this tournament. From the free throw line, we went back to the archive. Back in 1956, the U.S. defeating Thailand 101-29. A United States team that included Clyde Drexler. Back in '88, U.S. walloping Egypt by a pretty good margin. That 56 team included Bill Russell and K.C. Jones. Perez. So the United States leads now 88-32. 6 minutes gone by in the second half. And it's with 31 points, cashing in on turnovers. Cuba with only 2. Perez and Robinson able to control off the boards again. The U.S. on a break. Stockton alone. It counts. And the lead for the Cuban national team. He was a member of the squad that upset the United States in its opening game of the 1971 that year. This is his first international coaching experience, took over the coaching duties only 8 months ago. Stockton on a give and go with 8 assists. And Malone with the rebound, fires down. Here's Drexler for Robinson. Well, going into this competition, there were basketball people who said no question it would be a series of blowouts. Drexler again, and the foul.
A whole lot you can do. It's very frustrating for a coach because you understand that you still have to come back and play your next game tomorrow, and a good chance of beating this team, but I've got to win the rest of my games.
Miguel giving the impression that obviously there is nothing that can be done. A lane violation was called, so Drexler got point lead. Just under 12 minutes remaining in the game. Larry Bird has returned along with Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan. Magic Johnson back, and that won't count. So Michael Jordan with his most explosive move of the day by Caballero.
Well, I think everyone in this building has been waiting for Michael to do something. Those teams like to get out and run, so it's not their style to really, run the shot clock down.
Juan Caballero, the brother of Angel Caballero, called for the foul, and the steal by Angel Caballero. Jordan behind him. United States up by the score of 100. Game, the opponent was Cuba. That was last August, including 6 who were drafted in the first round this past Wednesday. Christian Laettner, Jimmy Jackson, Walt Williams, Clarence Weatherspoon, Adam Keefe, Tracy Murray, all on that squad. Nice fake on Jordan. And Cuba has actually unleashed 5 unanswered points. Scottie Pippen. Malone 11. Chris Mullin has 12. Larry Bird has 13. Jordan able to break it. Stockton with 11. Announcement, they said foul on Jordan, but it's Caballero. Bird open. Yes. In international play. Rojas. And Bird with the rebound. Gets to Pippen. Pippen over to Jordan. Fouled by Machadel. Well, 6 players have been able to win an NCAA title of Quinn Buckner. Nice setup.
2 shots.
Charles Barkley leads all active players in field. Shot 58%, but Artis was doing it for the most part from close in. When we were talking about it earlier.
Needed too much time.
Oh, you're trying to fake this. A little fake quiz. 8:20 remaining in the game, and the U.S. leading 108-41. Jordan off the fake. Michael Jordan with a spectacular move, going to a second option. And the U.S. leads 110-41. Morales.
Something happened here to get their crowd a little bit more involved than they've been. So how about a little double clutch, pull it away from the defensive man and kiss it off the rim and backboard. Jordan with the pullback, the concentration, elude the defense, and knock it down.
30 points. I think this team may outdo that.
Well, I think so, and particularly with a collection of talent. But not only that, when you have talent like this, talent's willing to play together, and I think it's very evident.
And a half remaining in the game, and the United States with a 110-43 lead.
And the U.S. showing a little zone defense right here, working on some of the things that Chuck was able to put in practice yesterday for the first time. A U.S. zone defense, he had to put it in because he had to work against it.
Leonardo Perez hitting a three-pointer. Magic Johnson able.
United States using a little 1-2-2, 3-2 flat zone.
Oh, behind the back feed. Pippen takes from Jordan.
This magnitude of talent altogether to perform. I think the guys themselves are
with 20. And 39-year-old Felix. The United States now with a front line of Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson in the backcourt. Advance to the Olympics in Barcelona. Magic trying to hit Barkley. And back comes Gilbert. Bird with the steal. Pippen from Barkley. Preceded by the look away.
And it's a little bit of showtime right now for the U.S. team. Making the extra passes, Jerry West mentioned.
Scottie Pippen to the foul line. Time All-Star, one of the NBA's most versatile players. Man who has redefined the
appreciation when you're with them every day in practice and you see how hard they come to play in a meaningless situation. Practice, other than conditioning and getting this stuff down. But Chuck, a big fan of Scottie Pippen.
Felix Morales showing us the left-hand pop. The United States leading 118-49. They led 67-27 at halftime. Bird from Pippen.
A little back pick and then move to the basket wide open, and then the look and pass, the conversion factor.
Well, Perez, the game, he now has 13. Another three attempted. Here's Barkley. Barkley over. A new 5 entering for the United States.
20 for 3 years after the first Olympics in 9 everything, scored the particular basket, the point. And then all my students thereafter were absorbed by to the United States. And going on in history, a lot of my now, including Marcellonis, Sabonis, big 6-7 foot, that's how long Russia dominated.
Olympians in for a gala dinner here in Portland on Friday night. 2:35 remaining in the game. Nice follow by Caballero. Stockton getting down. With Malone and Mullen up front, Stockton and Drexler in the backcourt. Alberto Maturana and draft play of the game. This taking place in the first half off the save by Michael Jordan, going behind the back, finding Larry Bird, and he's able to hit the three. The rejection by Drexler. That gets the crowd going.
Well, I kind of likes the defensive aspect of the game, sending it back into the stands.
Malone from Stockton, it counts. 2-point lead. We mentioned earlier the biggest win ever for the United States in Olympic competition was a 72-point margin over Thailand, 101-29. That was back in 1956. The United States team led by and Nagreen over Mullen. Leitner able to get to it. Stockton from Mullen. Stockton saving it. Here's Mullen, and he's bottled up. Stockton on the recovery. Malone is
A number of times with the U.S. players, and then just before Paul Malone went up to try and make the layup, he delivered a little physical miss.
Points for Karl Malone, 5-time All-Star. He and John Stockton leading Utah to the Midwest Division title this past season. Blazers. Here's Caballero. Abreu able to keep it alive. Machadel just got a piece of the glass. Stockton ahead of the field. 134 to 57. Half minute remaining. Tomorrow night, the United States goes up against Canada here in Portland. While tomorrow afternoon, Cuba will face Panama. The chant of USA from this crowd of 12,000 plus at the Memorial Coliseum. 10 seconds to go. The Green putting the move on Mullen. Malone with the rebound. And that will wrap it. Drexler with a count. Yes, it does. Well, the crowd loved the conclusion. The final score, the United States 136 and Cuba 57. We'll be back in Portland in a moment. And our player of the game, by way of the Portland Trailblazers, Clyde Drexler off the bench to hit 8 of 9. He finished with 20 points and 7 assists. Actually, you could have taken your pick a host of stars for the U.S. men's Olympic basketball team as they defeat Cuba by the score of 136-57. We'll be right back.